Hello and welcome to the Grow Your Life podcast, where I help people grow in their life, grow in their business, and get more results. I think if you grow in your business, it affects your life because you have more resources, you can just do a lot more. But you have to grow in your life and your mindset to get the business results. Listen, guys, if you're listening to this podcast, if it's helped you, share it with somebody. That's the number one thing that I ask, is share this podcast with somebody. Invite them to the Facebook group and invite them to listen to the podcast. And as always, subscribe and rate it on your favorite podcast app. It'll really help me out if you do that. If you're not in the hashtag Grow Your Life community, look up hashtag Grow Your Life on Facebook and join it, or go to my website, Krakowski.com. It's like a virtual mastermind where people talk back and forth about what they hear on the podcast, about what they're going through in their life and their business. Specifically for this podcast today, I would love if we had a conversation that was started with this, to where you go to the group, ask me questions as you're listening to this. If there's something that you're stuck on, the next step, leave questions in the group, and it will actually help me come up with more content for more podcasts and more free training to give you. As well, I also go live every single day on my Facebook and Instagram with a 10-minute teaching for you on how to grow your life. Today I'm going to talk about how to market, how to create, you got to create it first, how to create, market, and sell your first online course. So this is like an introduction to course creation that you could actually use this podcast right now to go out there and make some money with. My goal is this, that for you to listen to this podcast and actually get some results from it that are in your bank account. And if you're somebody that listens to this and that happens for you, let me know. That'd be awesome, just the testimonies. Like I said, join the hashtag Grow Your Life community on Facebook. If you're listening to this right now, I have a YouTube version where I'm writing stuff on a whiteboard. So that's what I'm doing right here. I'm actually writing down hashtag Grow Your Life. The other thing too, you guys, I actually do a 30-minute coaching call, like a full-on coaching call. My coaching is $1,500 an hour for me to get on the phone with you and talk. That's $1,500 per hour. So I am actually giving away $750 of value for free every single week to one person. That's what I have room in my schedule for right now. More may open up in the future. But to do that, the only possible way to get on the phone with me for free, if you are not a paid coaching client, is to go to my Instagram, which is on Instagram at Jeremy Crack. Which I went by Jeremy for a while, and then the Crack is like my last name, so Jeremiah Krakowski at Jeremy Crack. If you go to there or just look up Jeremiah Krakowski on Instagram, leave hashtag Grow Your Life on any of my posts this week, and I will pick one winner to get a free 30-minute coaching session with me on the phone. And I'm doing that, even for those that are listening to this, you're like, well, this is 2 weeks away. It's for the specific week. For each week, I pick one winner every single week that leaves hashtag Grow Your Life on my Instagram as a coaching client. And I really want to help more people, so that's why I normally put this at the end of my podcast, but I'm putting it at the beginning of the podcast because I would love to pick some people that are listening to this podcast episode and specifically need help in the area of course creation, marketing, and advertising, which is what I've done professionally for the last 15 years, is helped business owners make millions of dollars doing that. And so this podcast is the introduction to that for you. But if you leave hashtag Grow Your Life on any of my posts once a week, and the same person can win once a month, I pick one winner on Sundays on my story that wins by leaving the hashtag Grow Your Life. So I just want to give that offer to you. It is free, a 30-minute full level coaching session for free. It's not a pitch. I actually have not pitched anybody during these. I literally want to get on the phone with people and coach them on what they need help with. I've already pitched you on my coaching on here. If you want to hire me, there is a page on my website. You can click the apply button, and now you know what the cost of that is. Sometimes I do discounts. If you haven't already, check out my course, Website Building Made Easy. You're like, man, why haven't you gone into the podcast yet? Well, because I'm starting it a little different today. I actually want to start this podcast episode by telling you some things that I want you to know. My first course myself, I just launched, is Website Building Made Easy. It helps somebody that is wanting to get results with their website. They can start with that course and learn how to use Squarespace. This episode is not going to be a sales pitch for that course at all. I may mention it once in this episode, but what this episode is specifically for those that want to create, market, and sell their very first online course. So that's create, market, and sell. And you might ask, what is that order? This is a 1, 2, 3 step process. You can't sell anything unless you have the marketing and advertising materials. I kind of lump marketing and advertising together because you can do marketing without advertising. And so you need to always do marketing before advertising, and then advertising kind of fits into this to where you can automate your marketing process. So I'll go into a little bit more of that later as well. But our first step is creating your first online course. Now, for the last 15 years, I've helped the businesses that I've worked for and with take content, take materials, record it, produce it, make online curriculum and courses. And now I consult people specifically that are generally educators on how to do that and how to get more students is where I keep most of my consulting levels at. But I understand everything below that process that gets you to the point of needing to market, advertise, and sell. And so before you can do that, you have to create it. And most people struggle with two things. They don't know what to offer for free, and they don't know what to sell. They don't know what should be free and what should be paid. And so this is actually one of the first steps of this. But before you can decide what's free and what to sell, you actually have to decide what you're going to create training on, what your course is going to be. So this is where a lot of people dive into finding your niche, finding what your niche is specifically. And I know that a lot of people struggle with this. I'm not going to talk specifically about finding your niche as much here. I have been able to, when I get on the phone with people in consulting, which is why I started that with this Grow Your Life coaching offer, is if you're having trouble finding your niche specifically, this very much, the Grow Your Life coaching will help you with that. Within 30 minutes on the phone, I can at least help point you in a direction that is closer to where you should be going. I can't guarantee that it's going to be the exact direction, but if you're just like, I don't know where to start, let's get on the phone and just chat. And I'm working on materials to help people with this. This podcast specifically is for somebody that knows their niche or knows somewhat of a general sense of it. So what do I mean by a general sense of it? For me, when I was starting this program, I'm just going to give you my kind of testimonial. So my business background over the last 15 years is as an employee helping business owners with their content creation and their specific niches to find more customers, get more customers, sell more products, deliver content and materials that works for people in multiple industries. So in that, I've discovered kind of a formula that once we land on the industry, how to create, market, and sell that is duplicatable. And so that's what this is about specifically for you, is that process. So if you have a general sense of it, like for instance, when I started this, I wanted to help people grow their businesses, but I realized a lot of people also need mindset training, which is why I have a lot of great podcast episodes. If this is your first introduction to me, there's other episodes that are specifically just around mindset, getting your mind right, with focus, with disciplining yourself to take action. And so if you're struggling with those areas, go check out some of those episodes as well. So that's where I came up with Grow Your Life. And I realized I want to help people, no matter what part of their life they're in, whether they're starting out or an established business owner, get more results with what they already have going on, or discover hidden areas. So that's unlocking hidden areas. Sometimes you might have one niche idea, and actually the true area is something else. And I'm not going to go on much further on this topic because I'm still working through what it is. I don't have a formula to teach you about finding your niche, but I want to share a testimonial with you about a lady that I was just talking with on the phone. The Grow Your Life giveaway, she won it. And she was a professor at an institute for a while that taught art. And so she was trying to sell art. So she knew her niche was art. And then she also had some like health and I think some psychology training as well in that realm of people's just mental health and mindset and healing. And so she was trying to sell the art, but her experience was as a teacher. And I told her, what you're going to make a lot more money with and help people with is actually teaching what you are good at, teaching them all that you know, teaching them to be like you. Basically, that's how you find your niche. That's good. Like I just landed on that one right there. Is to find your niche of what your product should be, is it should be a way that what's something that people always ask you for help with. Your course can teach people, and your courses can teach them to be like you, to where you're basically imparting all that you know to them. You're essentially passing on all of your information to somebody else as if you like connected your minds with a wire, with an Ethernet cable. You know, imagine this USB cable that connects my computer to my phone. Your course essentially connects to you through what you say and plugs into somebody else and passes on what you have. People have done that forever. Books do that. For example, this is a book right here that I have on Java programming. It's about programming, computer programming. And by going through this book, it imparts to me what the author and group of authors know on a university level about computer programming, which is something that I've been learning over the last year and a half, 2 years. Still a beginner level on that, but it's been a good journey for sure. Your course is to do the same thing. Find what you're good at, what you know, what people always ask you for help with, what you can offer, and then impart that to somebody else. So you have to discover what that is for you. If you don't know what that is, I do recommend that you listen to some of my other podcasts that I have. You can listen to this one, but I don't think you're going to get as much out of it from this point forward if you don't know what that thing is that you do, because everything I'm going to talk about from this point on is for the person that has identified that, whether it's in the area of music, whether it's in the area of programming, whether it's in the area of business, health, fitness, food, marketing, like whatever that is. And I want to encourage you as well. Your area uniquely is not going to be the same as somebody else. It's not going to be the same as mine. It may be. You may be listening to this right now and you are essentially wanting to do exactly what I'm doing. And I'll give you a great piece of advice for that. Follow what I'm doing exactly as a template to take your unique ability, your unique individuality to plug into. If you try to just copy all the things that I'm doing, it will look like you copied somebody else, basically, is what it will be. And people can tell that. People can tell when somebody's authentic or when they're just copying somebody else. For instance, when I'm teaching right here, I've not copied from somebody else. This is all developed over time in my experience that I'm imparting to you right now. So if you are that person, that's great. Like, keep following me. I invite you to actually take everything I'm doing, copy it, and do it yourself and do it 10 times better. That's great. I have no ego or qualms against that. I think that's actually, the best form of flattery, they say, is imitation. And so go ahead with that. No problem. But I want to help you grow to be your own authentic version of yourself, not just a copy of me, not just a copy of anybody else, and to grow in confidence that what you have inside of you can help somebody else. Now, as I said, if you're somebody that is still listening to this and you're not that person that even knows what you can offer to people, that even knows what you can make a course with, but somebody told you course creation is a way to make money, you saw that on an ad somewhere, and you're like, well, maybe I can listen to this training from Jeremiah and get for free what I would in that course. I will say this, what you're going to get in this podcast is at the level of what people charge for courses for. So this is a mini course, kind of, on making courses for free on my podcast. I feel so sorry for those that aren't listening to my podcast and will not hear this episode because for whatever reason, but I promise you this, that you're going to get at least $5,000 worth of value that will help you make $5,000 over the next few months by listening to this. Now, I'm not guaranteeing results like that. I can't guarantee anything. In fact, I can't guarantee that you're even going to do anything that I talk about. But if you do follow this and make it unique for you, even if you follow it exactly, I can't guarantee anything. But if this spurs you on in that way, you're going to get that value as if you had paid me $5,000 to learn this. I can guarantee that. So, in this, creating your first course, once you know what your niche is, what you are offering, what you are selling, it's time to test it. Now, I have a podcast episode on this topic about video content creation. And I know I'm in a podcast and I'm directing you to another podcast. But what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to break down a summary of what this one is. And then you can listen to that one to get more info on this topic. It's the Grow Your Life podcast, this exact same one. But it's episode number 6. How to go from beginner to expert at video content creation and video marketing. And what this is it's a teaching. It's a hour-long teaching on how to articulate content on video, on social media. And what you can do is, I recommend people make one video a day to get comfortable with talking on camera, to hone in on what they want to create content for. And so this dives into free content, what to create. For those of you that want to create online courses, many of you may have an idea of what that looks like beginning. I did myself. Mine was my website building course. I have like 5 or 6 more courses I'm going to make after this as well. But what I also do is I have a podcast where I give course level training, meaning at the level that I would charge in a course for on this podcast for free. And I give it away on this podcast. Now, I'm not saying... I'm saying that to you because the reason that I do that, the only reason I'm saying that to you is I want to inspire you, as that is a method to hone in your messaging to become an expert in whatever field that you want to make courses on. And so if you make a video, one video a day, 5 to 10 minutes long on Facebook, on Instagram, after 30 days, that's 30 videos. And you will start to discover it's actually a journey. So from video number 1 on day number 1, to day 30, I promise you this, you'll start generally as a confused person that doesn't know, that's not very skilled at articulating stuff. Now, if you are an expert at talking, at teaching, at articulating on video, just ignore this section of what I'm going to share because it doesn't apply to you. This applies to everybody else that is not as good as you, which is most of the population. For example, I consider myself as somebody that easily can create content, and yet I still struggled through this and was confused at the beginning. And so the way that I got better at it was over the course of 30 days. I did one video a day on my social media, and it was a journey that actually transformed me over the course of 30 days from confused to confident at my content, at delivering content, at what I want to talk about. And so how does somebody transform themselves from a confused person to a confident person in less than 30 days, which, by the way, that's a name for a course. It's not a course yet, but it could be one. How does somebody transform themselves from confused to confident in 30 days? By practice, by doing it over time, by repeatedly doing something. And each day, what I'm doing is I'm picking a topic that I think I would want to create a course on, that I would think that I wanted to create courses on. So what I did starting out was I did mindset, sales, advertising, marketing, business leadership, website building, which every time I did one of those, it got a lot of feedback. So that's why I knew that that was a good place to start with a course, because it was also a place that people needed a lot of help, was that. But that fell under marketing. And so I started to do different topics in these areas. And then I would gauge over the course of 30 days which videos people were watching the most. So what I like to do is that gauges which ones you're more confident in, actually. It doesn't gauge which ones people like the most. When you're starting out, a lot of people think that the viewership and the likes and the shares show which topic that people want the most. That's actually not correct. It means the one that you are the most confident in articulating. Now, how do I bridge the gap between you knowing what I mean by that? I don't think I can in this podcast right now. But over my experience, what I found is that when people are starting out, the topics that they're the most confident in talking about, they can attract the most people to watch and engage with, and it gets more shares. So your social media actually tells you what you're more confident in delivering. So then you should deliver what you're the most confident in more of. And so then what I do is I repeat this process every 30 days. I will start to do more of what I realized I'm more confident in, as well as what you feel more confident in. Don't just go based on the feedback you receive. It's a two-way street of confidence and feedback. And so what you do is you have this wide net of processes, and then every 30 days, you're honing it in. And if you do this, I would say, now this is a longer process, but over the course of like 6 months, that's a lot of videos over the course of 6 months. But you will hit a bullseye in 6 months and know exactly what you need to make courses, make content, make materials on. Is if you do a video every single day for 6 months, you'll also have 30 videos every 30 days. And you can use that as resources. These are all free resources to send people to when they have questions. So what will happen is when I make a video and somebody asks me a question and I can answer it, I will make another video answering their question. Not directly, but answering it as if other people have that same question. And if I get the same question a lot in different ways from people, that's when I hone in on, that's a course that I need to make. And so what I was discovering as well is needs in the marketplace. I could make all of this content, all of this training, all of these videos, but nobody was knowing how to make a website that got results. So that's why I created a course on website building. So what this process is, this helps you when you kind of know your niche somewhat. So mine was definitely in the business realm. You can hone in on what your specific area of expertise is more for what people would want to buy from you. So I don't ever want to create a course. And I get it. Some of you are probably listening to this and you're like, what does this have to do with course creation? This has everything to do with it. This is your market research as well. And then what you'll start to do is you'll also start to look at what other products are in the marketplace in this niche. So this is your market research, and it'll start to hone in on what people want to hear from you. Now, I don't suggest you wait 6 months to create your first course. But what I do suggest is this, that you make a course within this first, that you decide during this first 30 days what your course will be. And then over this next 6-month period, you create it, market it, and sell it. And then your next follow-up course will come 6 months to a year later, based on this process and this feedback algorithm. So what we're doing is we're basically creating a human algorithm to get feedback from people on what content they want to hear from us more over time from what people say. And so that's why I have the podcast. That's why I have the group. That's why I have the coaching lessons. Every time I get on the phone with someone each week, I discover new areas that people need help in. And over time, over the last 6 months, it has, by methodically doing this every single day, it has helped me discover my next course, the next area that I need to help people with. You know, I'm coming up with an add-on course to my website building course on how to start market a website building agency so they can learn how to build websites and then how to get customers in an agency to make a job for themselves even. So it's like a job creation type mechanism, which is really cool, which is really awesome. I'm excited to launch that in the future. But this isn't about me. This is about you guys. So this will, by doing this, this will help you hone in on what people need help with. That still doesn't help you decide what to offer for free and what to offer paid. So you'll find your niche. You'll hone in on what area people actually want to learn from you from in the course by the feedback that you get from them, by the questions they ask, or by the areas that you observe that they need help in. So I also love to observe people. What people need help in is related to the questions they ask, but it's not usually the exact question because they don't know which area that they need help in. I'm going to say that again. Most people that have asked me over the last 5 to 10 years for help in what I do as a business owner, what I've done, have never asked me to build them a new website. And yet every single one of them needed a new website. I'm going to say that again. The feedback that I got from all of my clients over the last few years pointed to a giant bullseye on the fact that everybody needs their website improved in a way that gets them results. And yet none of them directly asked me that. They always asked me to do other things. And so what I always do when I go in with a client is I look at their website, and if it's not working, that's the first thing we need to fix. And so I say that to you because as you do this, you're going to get feedback in a few areas. You're going to get the direct feedback that people ask you, the direct questions that people ask you. So that's D. And D is a good indicator of what to give away for free. Okay? So what people are directly asking you for all the time, especially if it's time consuming, is a great thing to give away for free if you can package it in less than, an hour of a training. And that's how I come up with all these podcast episodes. Is I come up with, what do people need help with? What can I explain in an hour and get them results with to go to the next level? And so D, a lot of people have asked me, how do I create, market, and sell a course? And how do I know what to offer for free or to sell? And so that's what this episode is for. And so I'm really excited for where we're headed with this. By the end of this episode, I promise you are going to know how to create, market, and begin selling your first online course. So D1 is an indicator of what to offer for free, what to do content on, a short 5-minute, 10-minute content, what to do on a podcast. And what I love is having a Facebook group that then integrates with the podcast, with the free videos, because that's a feedback mechanism to where people can talk about, share their ideas in a more private space, as well as I also invite people, if you're listening to this as well, DM me, send me a DM. I respond to all of them as much as I can. Sometimes I can't get into deep conversations with people, but I can always at least give you somewhat of a response or help point you in the right direction. You might send me something, and so then I will answer in a short response and then make a video for it. This is my feedback mechanism. I want to hear from people directly. So those of you that are listening to this right now that have gotten this far into this episode, I want to honor you. You've gotten 30 minutes into this episode. If you're listening to this right now, if you're driving, if you are at the gym, or if you're watching on YouTube, I want to honor you. You personally that is listening to this right now. And if I don't have your attention right now, the way I want to honor you is this. I want you to ask me in a DM or in our group or on our coaching call. I want you to directly tell me what you need help with and what I can help you with. Go on my Instagram, go on my Facebook, go in the group and ask. I would highly recommend that you ask in the Facebook group. So look up #GrowYourLife on Facebook. And the reason for is this: your question may help another person and help answer their questions. So if you can ask it in the Facebook group and not in a direct message, we can help far more people get results. But if you want to ask it in a DM, go ahead and do that. And then what that'll do is that will help me know what to create more podcasts for, more episodes, more daily trainings, and eventually what to do with the course creation when I go ahead and create a full course on how to do this. I plan on making a full 10 to 20 hour course that walks people through that process, but it's not done yet. I'm working on it right now. And so this episode is actually part of that process. And so you can see here, I'm practicing what I'm preaching. I've identified that course creation, website building, sales, and marketing are the areas that I can help people with the most. And I've gotten that through the feedback from the group, through the direct messages, through the coaching calls when people leave #GrowYourLife on my Instagram and I hop on the phone for 30 minutes with people. Which, if you still haven't done that, head over to my Instagram. Either, if you're driving, don't do it while you're on the phone driving. Do not text and drive. But go to my Instagram, leave #GrowYourLife on any post I've done this week, and I'll pick one winner that can get a 30-minute coaching call with me, a full coaching call. You can ask your questions, and then I can help at least point the needle in the direction for you to go. You can find me on @JeremyCrack. This whiteboard paper has gotten completely dirtified right here. That's okay, though. So the direct feedback from people is what I know how to create free and paid offerings for people to help them reach their goals. And so for you, that direct feedback mechanism points to what people need help with, and 99% of the time, the questions that people directly ask you are what you offer for free. Sometimes it's what you make a course on, but many times what they're not asking you is what you can make a course on. And you might say, well, how do I know what they need if they're not asking it? If you get enough questions from people and you hear from enough people, the feedback mechanism will start to tell you intuitively what they need help with. And if you struggle with that, go listen to some of my other podcast episodes that help you with focus, with discipline, getting past fear, getting past worry. I have one that I just did last week, episode number 19, that's going to really help people unlock your hidden potential to do what seems impossible. And so in that episode, I actually explain if knowing what people need without them telling you it is a struggle for you, episode number 19 will help you. But what will happen is you'll actually discover it's not what people are saying. It's not what they're doing. It's what they're not saying and not doing. Or they're telling somebody else. Okay? So what I discovered was all of these people, because I was not building websites for people, they would always either ask me to other questions because I didn't offer website building. I didn't offer that as a service. But they were always hiring somebody else to do that. So they were asking somebody else what they weren't asking me. Get it? Good. So that's what this is. That's what I'm trying to help you with. Realize the questions that they're not asking you, 99.9% of the time they're asking somebody else. And so in that, if it's not something that you do, but it's something that everybody needs, you can then create a paid course on, because if you're an expert in that area, that's what you sell. That's what you offer for sale, is those things that can make you the most money. And if you struggle with that part of things, oh man, episode number 13, episode number 4 of the podcast is why everyone needs to make more money. All of these episodes are going to help you guys so much. So the feedback mechanism points to what they need help with, but also gives you clues as to the questions they're not asking you. And so what you become is you become a detective. And this is a little detective's magnifying glass right here. And you put on your Sherlock Holmes mask, your Sherlock Holmes hat. See, Sherlock Holmes discovered what people weren't saying from the clues. And so all that course creation is becoming a master detective to discover what your niche is, what to create, and then how to market and sell it. You become a detective, you hear what people are telling you, you ask questions back. That feedback loop is 2 ways. And then you hear and you listen to what people are saying, and it points to what they need you to create, market, and sell. And by the way, you have to sell people on free. You realize that? Where a lot of people get mixed up in sales is they don't think that if something's free, they have to sell it. You have to sell free more than you have to sell paid. For me to get people to listen to my podcast, I have to sell them on why parting with an hour to 2 hours of their valuable time is important to them. And I hope that you realize that what I'm talking about in this episode, you're already, I believe that those of you that are still listening, still tracking with me on this, 38 minutes into this podcast, that's a feedback mechanism to me, by the way. Every point that somebody gets through my podcast is a feedback mechanism. And I talk about how to do that with advertising in episode number 7 of the podcast, getting more traffic, more customers, free and paid traffic, which, by the way, I know I've thrown a lot of resources at you. I highly recommend that you listen to. I'm gonna leave some resources in the post on my website that will link to where you can kind of get some of the main pieces of material of how to do this process. And it correlates directly to sales, marketing, and Facebook ads. Okay? For those of you that go through that, you're gonna put a lot of pieces together and get some results. The feedback mechanism points to what you need to create and then sell. And selling somebody on something free is just as much as selling them on paid. You have to market it, you have to advertise it, and then that leads to the paid. So for example, this lady that did art, she realized that she really helped people gain more confidence, more joy, more self-belief. And one of the questions people were always asking her was, how do you make a vision board? So we identified for her, she had this experience as a university teacher. She created a Facebook group. She was creating content. She was trying to sell art. Okay? So she was trying to sell art to people. But what she really needed to sell people on was how to become an artist and the healing side of art and educate people, which is what she had an expertise in. And so a lot of people were asking her about making a vision board. So I said, make a free course on creating your vision board. And so she was able to take that and actually create a course on making a vision board. So that became her first free course. And then I said, then from there, the feedback is you can create and sell a full course on the whole topic of art that you used to teach. She's from Venezuela, so she used to teach in Venezuela about that. And that's what she could create a course to sell people on, as well as marketing and selling coaching to people. And so one of the biggest things is that if you're coaching people on a specific topic and you're constantly doing something, but it's time consuming for you, that points to what you can sell. So for me, what I was finding is throughout this whole feedback process, what people were always asking me, we would always identify through coaching. We would identify through coaching that they all needed to start with having a website. So what I realized was I can ease that process if they couldn't afford me to make the website, which cost $20,000 if I'm the one building a website for somebody. Most people listening to this do not have that. If you need to hire me and a team to do that for you, that's what that cost is. And that's what I have businesses pay me for. And then we hire full designers, marketers, all of that to do those types of things. If they couldn't hire me and they didn't have the resources to do that, I created a course on DIY of how they could do it themselves. So I was able to pass on my knowledge and impart to them what I had on how they could either direct a team or DIY it themselves using a platform like Squarespace. And so that's what my course is about, is DIYing that for people. So I identified that as the selling point. So what I was doing was I gave away a lot of free teaching on my Facebook and Instagram. This podcast, every single episode, I would get feedback from people on what they needed help with. And now I'm identifying what new content people need help with. So what I've identified now up to this point is people need help with making online courses, marketing them, selling them. If you're listening to this right now, that's you. Clearly. You've proven that at this point. And you can use as well a feedback mechanism of how far somebody gets into a video to tell what they need help with. Okay? So if you're this far into this, I really invite you to send me a DM. Let me know what you're building, what you're creating, what your course idea is, what your niche is. I'd love to have a conversation even on DM about that and see how we can help you. If you don't win the giveaway, at least send me a DM. I can do a little bit of coaching, guidance, and help you with that. Or post it in the Grow Your Life group. So what you'll discover is through coaching, and by the way, people might be like, well, I don't know how to do coaching. Coaching is just inviting people to ask you questions and then you help them with something. So when I do that, that's how you can start coaching. Every one of you has done coaching at some point in your life with another individual. Some people call it training. I call it coaching because training is a little more hands-on. Coaching is where you just tell somebody how to change something, and then they can get results on their own. You're teaching somebody how to fish, not just giving them a fish. If you give somebody a fish, you can feed them for a day. If you teach them how to fish, you can feed them for a lifetime. My goal is always to teach people how to fish, how to make millions of dollars. And I know that I can do that because that's what I've done in the past with people, is help business owners to make 7 and 8 figures and beyond. And that's what I still do with those that I consult, those that pay me, those that we coach with. So you'll discover through the feedback mechanism, you'll find people that need coaching. Okay? You'll be able to create content. You'll find people that ask questions. And coaching could be as simple as those questions that they're asking you on social media. Social media is a great mechanism for coaching. Social media is the mechanism that I like to use all of this with on all social media platforms. And if you're somebody that wants to do course creation and you haven't started with creating free content on your social media, your course will probably fail unless you're an expert at course creation already. So if you're somebody that's already sold courses, or if you've taught in universities or something like that, you'll be successful at the content. That'll be because you know what it is. But for those of you that have never done that and you haven't done free content, you probably will fail. So for me, when I made my website building course, I actually made the course before I did any of this free content, because I had a proven track record of doing that. So I kind of skipped that process and did it in reverse order. For those of you that are experts already at creating content, at delivering a message, at training, at coaching people, you already know what that is, and you're probably listening to this right now, or they already clicked off because they thought this podcast wasn't for them because of their ego. But for those of you that have laid your ego aside at the door, that are listening to this right now we get to the point where we can talk about marketing and course creation. You're like, oh wait, you didn't teach me how to create a course. Once you've landed on what people need help with, what you're going to make a course with, by using these feedback mechanisms of people's questions, delivery, coaching, helping them answering questions, and you do this over time, you'll discover what you need to make a course on. After doing lots of free content, you'll discover what to make a course on. And you might do a 1-2 punch, a free one and a paid one. So for instance, I have a plan to offer, a free challenge to help people with this process that we just talked about down here. That's coming up very soon. I want to help people with that for free, because if I can help people with that and they get results with that, then I can get them to make a course. So I got to help people at a 1-2 punch. So what we just talked about right now, that process, there's more to that story of the mechanisms of it. And it's probably a 3 to 4 hour training that I plan to package as a course for people, as a I haven't decided if the full one's going to be free or paid yet. That's what I'm still deciding. But I've landed on, I need to help people with course creation. I need to help them with marketing, with advertising. So that's what we're building right here. If you've landed on what your niche is, what you need to help people with, it's time to get an account at a website called thinkific.com. I'm not endorsed by Thinkific, but they are the only platform that I recommend for online course creators. And if you're watching this on video, you can see the whiteboard. I'm going to share my screen here. It's what I use for my course. It creates this login form here. People can log in. They can access my course. It looks like this. Here it is. They log in. They get this learning system. We have the workbook that we've loaded up here. This whole 139-page workbook. And there's over 10 hours of training, as well as I'm adding bonus lessons all the time. How to create landing pages. Hey everyone, today's lesson is on these. So, and I teach everybody this. by showing them landing pages that I've created, and even some copy and paste code right here that I've never given to anybody. This is some Facebook code that doesn't exist anywhere. That'll help somebody. If you got that, that's going to help you a lot. Which, if you pause this video on YouTube, you can actually grab it right there. There's the code. Yep. All right. Send that to your web developer. It's going to be too hard for me to explain what that is, but it'll help you track when people scroll to the bottom of your landing page and track leads when somebody clicks an add to cart button. So in that, Thinkific is what I use to sell courses with. And if you go to their website, thinkific.com, they have a free version of it. Test drive it for free. You can actually sell 3 courses to unlimited students absolutely free. You probably didn't know that this existed, did you? Now, for most people, I recommend the Pro plan. That's what I use, because you can do payment options and recurring memberships and things like that. But Thinkific is the best platform out there. Now, they let you build your course. They do have a landing page builder. I'm not a big fan of it. It's very limited and basic to the style of landing pages you can create, which is why I recommend people take my website building course and use a combination of Squarespace and Thinkific. And that course is right here, Website Building Made Easy. You can sign up for it. It's $6.97 or 3 payments of $247. So, then this course walks you through that process. So what I recommend is that you have a landing page that you built and a full website, and then you host your course on Thinkific. Okay? So for those of you that you've identified what you need to create a course on, get a free Thinkific account today, if you're listening to this, and go play around in the back end there. And then what you'll do is you'll start to write down bullet points in a Word document on what your course will be about. So what I do is I use Google Docs, and over the course of, I would say, a week to 2 weeks, I wrote down everything I wanted to teach people in my website building course. And it filled up 3 pages. And then that 3 pages turned into a 10-hour course. And it was all just the bullet points. And so then what I did was I arranged them into a mini curriculum index of what order I wanted to teach people in, how I wanted to help them. Now, that didn't become law. What I did was then I just instantly took that and I started recording my course. So I started recording myself on the computer with a camera, just like I'm doing right here with you guys. I use an app called OBS to record. So OBS is Open Broadcaster software, and you might need to find somebody to help you with some of this stuff. But Open Broadcaster is right here, and it's a free studio that lets you plug in your webcam with a microphone and record video content, and then you can upload that video content to Thinkific. You can also do screen capture with it. There's a paid platform as well that I really like called ScreenFlow. This one's really good for Mac, and I love using this for digital course creation on the computer, as well as there's Camtasia is one for Windows. And so this is software for you to use to create digital course training. Okay? So once you have those notes down, those bullet points, this is your process. This is your blueprint here. I really wanted to help people in the first hour come up with what they need to teach on. Now what we're going to talk about is how to create your course, how to sell it, how to market it, how to get customers. So as you can see here, I created this course, I recorded it, I loaded it up into the Thinkific members area with Thinkific. After I had all the videos, I split it out, I wrote notes down, I made a workbook. You don't always have to do all this, by the way. And some of you will not even do this process. Some of you will actually pre-sell the course and use a platform called Zoom to do your course live, which is another way to do this. And this is a way to make money quicker, is you pre-sell the course and you actually teach it live to people as if they're in a classroom. So you sell tickets to it, then you do it over the course of maybe 4 weeks or something, or a week, and you deliver the training directly to people live on Zoom. Now, I prefer doing more live stuff in a podcast format, and then when people pay me, I would rather it be more put together, more organized as a course. But some people don't have that luxury. They need to make money quickly. So you can create a landing page on Thinkific, sell your course, sell the access to your Zoom link through Thinkific, or do it through Squarespace, and then people can sign up, and then you'll send an email to them either through Thinkific or through both of these. Integrate with MailChimp. If you haven't checked out Squarespace, by the way, see, I still recommend using Squarespace. Thinkific is not a replacement for Squarespace. It is kind of the main platform, and then it links to your course on Thinkific. Sign up for an account with Squarespace. You can also sell your course through that. And in my course, Website Building Made Easy, I actually teach about how to do course delivery and all the marketing, the basics of course delivery and marketing, just through the Squarespace platform without using Thinkific. But Thinkific is free, so that's why I like to link them together. So for instance, with my course here, if you're on the YouTube, you'll go to my website, scroll to the bottom here, and then when people click Get Started, it will direct them to my Thinkific platform, which if they're logged in, I already have this page that says already registered or want to register, which is rare, so that people land on that. But if they're not logged in, it'll lead them to this page where they can put their payment info in and pay through Stripe. Now, this isn't a course on doing this. This is just an overview for you guys. So, like I said, this is a 10 to 20 hour course where I explain all of the ins and outs of Thinkific, course creation, creating your materials, launching and selling through Zoom, advertising, sales, and marketing. So this is just an overview for you. You can record your content with OBS. You load it up into Thinkific. After you write your notes down, I highly recommend doing video courses. If you're like, can I just do an audio course? Sure. But it's a bit of a disservice to people. It really helps people more when they can look at you, when they can hear from you directly. And so you can load that up into Thinkific or Squarespace. You can sell it. You can use tools like MailChimp to do that, and you can create your course. Thinkific has a lot of great training in their platform as well on how to use it, how to load your course up. So you just load everything in there, you write a description, and it really is that easy. And then you add a price, and Thinkific can be used to sell it. You create a landing page. So then you need to create a landing page either through Squarespace or through the Thinkific site builder that tells people about your course. You'll have an introduction to it, and this is where we get into marketing and sales. So as you can see, I didn't touch much on the process of creating your course, because a lot of that you can just do by diving into the Thinkific platform and using their help documents, and then even asking me questions in the Grow Your Life community. For those of you that are at that point already, I really would love to connect with you. I'm not sure how many of my listeners are already at that point, so that's why I'm not going super deep into that. But the process of getting to the point where you know what you're going to teach, that's where that is. And Thinkific is the platform that I highly recommend for that. Record your content, record your training, and help people. Impart to them what you know. Impart to them everything that they need to get the promised result. And then what you do is you create a landing page on a website. You'll have a header at the top of it. This will have your title. On the landing page, you'll have a headline. And then you go into some storytelling. And then we go here. We can put the, sometimes we'll put testimonials. We'll put benefits, not features, benefits. How it can help them, what they'll learn. So a lot of times you'll have to rewrite your features of your course. It's not like do this, but like what's the benefit of them doing that? And then that's what you write down as the benefit. So for instance, if I can help people with SEO, it's get more visitors to your website, organically. So that's a benefit, and you'll start to use the feature benefit algorithm to do that. You'll take the benefits and rewrite them. You'll take the features and rewrite them as benefits. You'll do kind of a deal sweetener. You'll show people what is included, what it includes. And then you'll have your pricing table at the bottom. That's where they can purchase from you. And then sometimes maybe a money back guarantee and then all that. So I explain all that process in my website building course, more about this. And that's the formula for selling courses is this right here for people. Next, to launch your course, and this is the part that people, I find had the most struggle with, is actually launching and selling the course. So generally where I find people struggle the most is deciding what to teach and then how to sell it. So the process in the middle there, you can learn through what's already on the Thinkific website. That's why I didn't touch on it very much. Once you get to the point where you know what you're going to teach and you dive into testing Thinkific, you'll see what I mean. You'll see how simple that is for you. If you do have some questions, I would love to hear what those are. I can do a whole teaching on setting up your computer, the camera, recording, all the technical sides of things, but I don't want to do that on this podcast right here. Maybe in the future, if I hear more from people, more feedback, which is why I need to hear that feedback from you guys to help you reach your results. I want you to take this podcast episode, and from the feedback that you get from it, I want you to get results creating courses. That's my goal with you that are listening to this right now. My goal is for you to listen to this podcast and make money from it. By combining the podcast, if you don't ask me questions, if you don't get feedback and you get stuck on something and you don't ask questions, it's not going to work for you. The only way that this podcast is going to get you results, this episode is going to get you results, is if you do the feedback with me. If you leave a comment in the Facebook group, the Grow Your Life community, on my blog, on my website, send me a DM, send me an email, do the hashtag Grow Your Life giveaway on my Instagram. That's the only way that I can help you get results. Okay? And so let me know what your questions are, where you're stuck, where you need help in this process that we've talked about, and then I can help you get there. Once you have your landing page up, it's time to create graphics and videos to market it. And so canva.com is a great resource for creating graphics to sell your course, creating advertisements. Right here, canva.com. And then what I love to do to sell courses is just using my smartphone, and it's right here. using my smartphone and taking a video of myself. And as I did more of that, that's why the process of doing video, that's why the process of getting comfortable doing video is so important. Because when you get comfortable doing video and teaching on social media, you'll get comfortable at delivering podcast episodes, creating content, course creation, and video advertising. Okay? So the reason for you to do that, to get comfortable, to do the 30 days of a live video every single day, if you're still not doing that and you haven't, and you're not an expert at communicating on video, if you're not comfortable on video and you still haven't done that, that process will transform you from somebody that is confused to confident. And then you'll know how to make videos to sell people on your course. And use videos, and you can run those videos as advertisements. You can use retargeting to retarget those that are engaging with your content, that are in your Facebook group, that are listening to your podcast to buy your course. Create lookalike audiences. That's what my blog post on why your Facebook ads aren't working is all about, is that process. And so you can create video ads, you can create graphics, and then from here, we start to see we're now testing if it's working. Okay, and then this is where we can decide to create maybe a webinar, a free webinar training, create a podcast episode, you can create a free content on the topic of what your course is. So you actually create free content for people to teach them about why they need to buy your course. Indoctrinate people on that. For example, if I was to do that, it would be about the benefit of a business model where people could take what they know and make courses with it. And I would do a webinar on that then would lead to a course like this. I hope what you're getting from this podcast is delivering that to you for free right here. You can make a webinar on that. You can do podcast episodes like this. So I'm creating a podcast episode to where, I'm talking about a future course that I'm doing. I'm talking about my coaching that I do. I have mentioned my existing course that I have for those that need websites. And so you can create free content on your social media. You can create it in your groups. You can create it on YouTube that surrounding content around what your course is. And now this becomes a feedback mechanism for you, like bacteria. It kind of looks like a little bacteria, that image that I drew on the screen. What I mean by bacteria? Well, it creates a swarm. And what the swarm is the swarm is on your social media. It looks like this if you're watching on video. And the swarm points you to how to sell people on your course. And you need to listen to people. When you first launch your course, initially, you may need to ask more questions. And that's what I've had to do with my website course, for example. And this is part of the active process of getting better at selling, getting better at coaching, getting better at delivering content. For example, I ask people, what are their greatest needs? What are they struggling with? The biggest question people always ask me about it is why WordPress versus Squarespace. So I did a video on that. I've been running videos on that. You might see it as a sponsored ad. You might see me running ads for this. And it's all to answer these questions for people of why they need to build a website. So what you'll do is you'll answer the questions when you create a course, when you put it out there to the marketplace to launch. This is where people get stuck in their marketing, okay? Is they get stuck answering the questions that people have in their head of why they need to buy from you. And so what you'll do is you'll use the exact same method that we talked about initially right here. The exact same method of discovering what you need to create that's free or paid by doing video content. The feedback mechanism of what people directly ask you and then what you're coaching on will then answer the questions, because sometimes you'll actually end up having to coach people on why they need to buy your course, for example. And that's what I've ran into, is I'll end up having to coach people on why my course is for them. Sometimes, not always. I hope my ads do that for people automatically. I spend most of my time when coaching on what I can dive deep with people with. They already know what I have to offer. You already know I have a course. I don't need to sell you on why you need it. So if I get on the phone with you from the Grow Your Life giveaway, I want to dive deep into how we can help you where you're stuck, what questions you have. If you send me a DM, I'll get that direct feedback from you of how to help you, either with free or with paid materials. I'm on a mission to help create 100,000 millionaires through this. And I believe that I can. This is just the beginning. This is the tip of the iceberg of what has to happen. There's so many layers deep of this that I can help impart to people and teach them on this topic of course creation and creating content and delivering content and the feedback mechanism and how to create profit. The reason for you to create profit in your business, the reason that you need to make money, is for you to leverage your feedback mechanism to reach people more. The reason why I run ads is to get more feedback from people of what's working and what's not. And testing. That's all part of the ads process. And so in this, you'll either have the free content, your paid content that surrounds what your course is or your webinar, and you'll get feedback from people. And what these are is they point to basically indoctrinating people on why they need to buy your course, why they need to buy from you. You know, indoctrination just means helping you see what I see. What I see in most business owners is that they need a website to get results. And so I want you to see why that's so important to get a website that gets results. And then I want to help people get results. I have a podcast episode that's an introduction to building a website on Squarespace that'll get people started. At the end of the day, I don't get anything from Squarespace. I'm not endorsed by them, but I want you to sign up for Squarespace. I don't want you to buy my course if it's not for you or if you can't afford it. I want you to sign up for Squarespace and start using that. I want you to use Thinkific. I want you to use Canva, these tools that are out there, and get results with them. So I have an episode number 3 of the podcast is how to build a high quality website in 24 hours. It's an intro to Squarespace on how to do that. And that'll help you a lot. And I also have a couple free courses that I'm launching here soon on the introduction to that for people, to help answer these questions for people that they have. And there's lots of great stuff on YouTube. If you don't know how to use YouTube and Google better, start using them more to ask questions that you have as well. You know, when you ask me a question, many times I also go Google it. So go use Google yourself before asking somebody else, and then see what results pull up on Google as well. It'll really help you. And so then what you'll do to market and sell your course is you'll start to answer the questions that people have of why they need your course, why they need what you have to offer. And you'll actually get better at this over time. You may end up having to rewrite your landing page over time based on the feedback, based on that loop. So once you get that information, it'll loop back around and you'll understand why people need what you have to offer or what their hangups are. I found one of the biggest hangups for people for my website building courses, they just didn't understand why they needed Squarespace. Once people got why Squarespace, they understood my course. And then they didn't understand why they needed an improved website as well. So those are the two things that if I can help people with, they need to understand those two things. And I explain those in certain videos as well as on the landing page as well. It answers those questions for people. From that, you'll be able to create content that helps people with that. And then that's why I say, you know, you might then make a second course or a part 2 in the future. A part 2 might come along. An update, added updates. That's why I love having a group attached to my course. It's a course feedback mechanism. So I have a group when people buy my course, my website building course, there's a Facebook group to where they have access to me to ask me any question about the course, about building their website on Squarespace, and then I can answer their question or create bonus training materials for people. And so I've already created rounds of bonus materials on landing pages, pricing tables, connecting Thinkific, my favorite platforms for hosting memberships and courses for people. I've added to the course from the feedback that I've gotten in the group with that. So I highly recommend also having a Facebook group that surrounds your course specifically. So I have my Grow Your Life group, that's free, but then I have my Website Builders Platinum Support group for those that buy my website building course. Okay? And so I'm telling you all of this to use as a template for you that's going to help you create and sell more courses, and then rinse and repeat. So from this feedback, all of this information that I've given you here, it will point to additional information, updates that you need to add to your course, as well as maybe a part 2 or a second course. What people need from you, what they want to buy from you now, what the next step is for them. You know, step 1 for everybody I work with, you need a new website. Step 2 could be any number of things. It could be advertising if they already have a course. It could be course creation if they don't have a course. It could be brick and mortar, so then they need advertising, they need to know how to source it. Leadership, coaching, understanding how to work with teams, things like that. And so in that, we're able to deliver to people additional content through our podcast, and that creates that whole synergistic swarm of information that then we're able to pull from, take notes. I write a lot of it down. I also keep a lot of it up here, and I'm understanding my target customer more. And then I'm understanding more of what I need to give away for free, what should be paid. And if you're still struggling with what to give away for free and what's paid, ask this. What are people always asking you for that they can quickly get a result from? That's what you should give away free. But if it takes them time, hours, a process for them to go through, my Squarespace course, you need to sit at least through the whole 10 hours to get my theory and for me to impart to you my 15 years of experience on website building, what works, what doesn't, through that whole 10-hour course to really get it. I can't deliver it all in one podcast. I can't deliver it in a series on YouTube. If I did that, I wouldn't be able to reach as many people. I can reach more people by selling it because of the advertising mechanism to it, and then offer additional supportive free materials, which I'm coming up with. I'm creating more. I'm coming up with more free trainings for you on website building and all of this. There's so much that I want to offer and I want to help you guys with through this podcast, through the Grow Your Life community, but I have to hear the feedback from you. That's why I invite you to share this podcast with people. That's why I invite you to join the Grow Your Life community. Invite your friends to the community. Leave hashtag Grow Your Life on my Instagram. I want to get on the phone with some people. I want to talk with people. I want to have DMs with people. I want to increase and turn the level of the feedback that I'm getting from people up to 10 to know how I can help you with this stuff. And then you can take all of this and use Facebook ads to either drive leads. You can generate leads. Leads will come from a landing page on your website. I ran out of space, so we're going to use the last page here. So you'll get leads, you'll get, and this could be email, phone number, or you'll also build audiences. Okay? And this is for Facebook ads. Website visitors. Those that are on your email list. Those that have watched your video content. Listen to your podcast. You can track all of this stuff, you guys. And you'll utilize this to sell your course to people. You know, you can use messenger ads. That's why I tell people to message me all the time. Because if I can talk with somebody and help answer their questions, I can help them know if my course is a good fit for them. So leads through email. You can do this with a webinar, a free e-course. So what I've seen a lot of people do, unfortunately, is they'll actually start here. They'll start with their free e-course or their webinar before they actually have proven that the marketplace needs it. So this is a mistake because you're not getting feedback from people. Especially if you've never sold a course before, you can't really gauge that. Even me, who's sold a lot of courses, I'm still not quite on the money of what I can help people with exactly, but I'm able to get the feedback from people with helping them with what I know I can help them with. That makes sense. And that's what we're doing through the Grow Your Life community, through the podcast, through my posts, through my social media, through this first course that I launched. Then you're able to gauge what people need from you for free, and you can create an e-course with the intention of to take this to the next level. Sign up for my course. You need to deliver very valuable content through your e-course. I'm so tired of webinars and e-courses that don't deliver value, that don't help people, that don't help them get a result. It really frustrates me, and it's not okay. If you deliver value and you get over your ego of worrying about what you give away for free and give your best content to people for free, you can generate an unlimited amount of leads and audiences because people respect you, because they know that you're helping them. And I hope that my mission with this podcast is for you to realize, if you don't know what I do already, how I can help you, that I'm authentic, that I'm real, that I'm legit. And that same issue is what people struggle with you when they're buying from you, when they're giving you their name and email address, when they're getting on the phone with you, when they're watching your video content, when they're listening to your podcast. They want to know, is this guy legit? Is he going to help me? And you can answer that question. You have to sell people on what's free as well. And this is just another level to this topic that I think I need to make another podcast episode on this level right here that I've hit on. Don't be authentic and real just for an ulterior motive. I'm going to say that again. Because it really, I really mean this. I'm tired of seeing people market and sell stuff online and give away valuable free content just for the purpose of selling somebody on something. You need to make serving other people and helping them get results be your first focus, and discover what that is. You can make a little bit of money not doing that. You can make 1,000 times more by doing that. And if I'm going to help 100,000 people make $1 million, that's my goal. You have to get this. You have to make another person's goals be greater than you in everything that you're selling. The only reason that you're making a course, the only reason that you're making a course is to help somebody else get results. It's not for you to get a paycheck. It's not for you to make money. The reason I sell my website building course is not for me to make money. I do not want you to buy that course just for me to make money. I want you to get results with your business, and and a website will help you do that. I don't want you to listen to this podcast just for me to feel good that I have a lot of people that like me. I don't want you to share it just for me to feel good that I have people that like me. I want to help impact people and change the world. And I know that I can do that with the help of more people. And then I want to encourage you that what you do needs to be bigger than you. For those of you that are listening to this right now, that have gotten an hour and 24 minutes into this, I'm talking to you. You are You are the person that has what people need. What you have inside of you is going to help somebody reach their goals. You are somebody that can change the world, and you are somebody that can do great things. You've already proven that because you've made it an hour and 24 minutes into a podcast on making courses. And the only reason that somebody would do that is if they have something inside of them that they want to get out there to somebody else to help another person. Lean on that, and lean on knowing that what's inside of you will help somebody else get results. And you'll never struggle with how you're going to make money from it. If you make your focus, how can I help somebody first? Not how they can help me, but how I can help them. And I want to encourage you that you can do this. I'm not just saying that. I truly know it. Because I know that this process works, that this process gets results, and that if you help somebody, it will work for them. Make that your goal. Your goal should not be, can I get sales to my course? Okay, I'm going to preach here. Your goal cannot be, how can I get sales to my course. Your goal can be, how can I give to somebody else what's been given to me? And be generous and pass it on to somebody else. And then from that place, what comes back to you, this is the 120 principle. You give 100%, not just 80-20. You don't just give 80. I hate 80-20. 80-20 will not help anybody get results. 80-20 is a perversion of what the truth is. The truth is, give 100% of what's inside of you, and then ask when somebody needs help with something for the next level. That's when you ask for the sale, because it will help them get to the next level. You're serving somebody. You're serving them on a deeper level. You're serving them to reach their goals. You're serving them to get results. And from serving comes everything. And by you serving, you are leading. And by you leading, you can change the world. And then from there, nothing is impossible. So for you to get leads, when you get leads, to get email, a webinar, an e-course, make your purpose of that to help serve somebody with the content that they get through these platforms. This will give people content that they need that will get them results. Your video content, your website content, your course, your podcast should be about serving somebody else's needs and helping them reach a higher level of where they need to go in their life. Your leads can be about phone. If you're somebody that's good on the phone, get on the phone. And that's where you can sell somebody. Generate phone leads for yourself. If you're not that great on the phone, get better at your email marketing follow-up. You can use a platform like MailChimp or ActiveCampaign. And then you can build audiences based on the leads that you generate, based on the Facebook ads you run, based on the visitors to your website, based on the video views, based on the podcast listens, and use the feedback mechanism to then speak to the person, speaking directly to what their needs are, to then help walk them down a path of them buying from you, if it's a good fit. I don't ever want people to sell to people that it's not a good fit for them. You can create materials for people at all levels, whether it's free or paid, high price, low price, to help serve people on all different levels. By building audiences, by generating leads. When you make serving other people your goal, all of this comes naturally. If this is a struggle for you to build audiences and to get leads, it's because your focus is not serving people. If you have trouble with this, your focus is not serving people and is on how they can serve you. And you need to shift your perspective away from just getting what you can get, but what you can help somebody else with. And then that will lead to your direct feedback mechanism, the feedback you get from people, the coaching, what you hear back from people, the content you create, the podcast, the free videos, the free courses. And then whatever you can help somebody with, you can offer for free on your podcast, on your... I did a podcast episode on making podcasts, by the way. On your video content, on your free e-course, on your webinar, on your email, on your social media content. So the idea is this: on all this, you give away your best content, how you can, to people for free. And for people then to take it to the next level from the result that they get from this. So you want people to get a high level result from here for free. Okay? And then from what they get that result to, that will point to what you offer for sale with a giant bullseye on what you sell. And then people will give you money for the value that's delivered, because you're basically doing a reverse. You're lending. Oh, this is good. You're lending them. You're lending them some of the money that they're going to pay you later. You're not actually lending them money, but what you're doing is, in your free content, you're basically giving so much value to them on the free end, then when it comes time to ask for the deal, because you've delivered so much value as if you've lent them money, they're willing to pay up on the value that you've delivered as a whole to them. And this becomes a very ethical way of selling, because it's natural, because they're now reciprocating the value that you've already delivered for free, which has a higher level of value because you trusted in them, because you believed in them so much that when it comes time to purchase something, that trust is already established, that authority is already there. And then when you deliver on your promises, that's where testimonials are so important. When you deliver on what you promise in your course, oh man, you have a repeat customer for life. You have somebody that wants to come in and do more coaching with you. And that's where your rates come up. That's where more courses come up. That's where you then have to hire coaches to coach under you. That's where you have to hire more course creators, and you can build a company on this. This is how you build a multi-million-dollar company, from a simple Facebook post, from a simple Facebook Live, by just going live on Facebook once a day for 30 days. If you're somebody that hasn't made content and gone live on Facebook for 30 days, but you're listening to this right now and you're not skilled at delivering content to people, go back to Facebook, start doing once a day for 30 days video content, and use everything that I talked about in this podcast. You might have to listen through the podcast again when you can have time to focus on what I'm talking about here. We've covered a lot. I'm going to give you some resources as well. If you go to my website, go to podcast, go to episode number 20, and click on the description. There's going to be links to blog posts about Facebook ads and building audiences, as well as the other podcast episodes about this. So there's about 2 to 3 more hours of coaching that can help you go to the next level with the advertising and audience building portion of it, which you can do right away with the Facebook platform and your free content. You can take an audience of everybody that watched all that free content, this is what I do, and then deliver them an ad to buy your paid content. And then that becomes a system that runs for you pretty much on autopilot. And I actually teach that for free with that link. So I'll give you that link on that. If you're just wanting to go listen to it, it's episode number 7 of this podcast, getting more traffic and customers with free and paid methods. And then obviously the how to go from beginner to expert at video content creation. I also did a blog post. So then the blog post talks about this. It's called Why Your Facebook Ads Aren't Working. And then I link to a training that I did on using artificial intelligence. I also have I have a podcast episode that I just did 2 weeks ago, setting up your social media profiles for maximum results. And I linked to the Gary Vaynerchuk social media guide, as well as a video that I did on creating content on social media. So I'll link to all of those in the description. Episode number 18, the Gary Vaynerchuk guide, the video that I did, all those videos. And that's kind of a mini curriculum for you almost that you could go through to combined with this podcast episode. Once you create your course, how to get some customers and test some stuff out. I'm not going to cover that here, but this whole process right here is what gets results. And I'd love to hear from you which part of this process you would like to hear more from. I want to make more podcast episodes because each one of these is like a 1 to 2 hour training on how to implement. So it's like, if I talked about all of this, like right now, we're already at like 20 to 30 hours of coaching. And I've only given you the introduction to it in this episode. I will be making a course in the future on all of this. It's not out yet. It's coming soon. Stay plugged into my videos on social media, my podcast episodes. Share this with people and keep asking me questions. And I'll start making some more content on these topics for you guys. I believe that everybody has inside of them the ability. They can make money selling courses or helping course creators. You could actually have a business where you manage and help people coach. You know, they've estimated that the biggest wealth transfer in the next 30 years is going to come in the realm of education. Trillions of dollars, I think it is coming from education and people learning from outside of the walls of university to individual people teaching others as mentors, as trainers, as coaches. Now, my mission to help 100,000 people make $1 million isn't just in the course creation realm. This is a way that you can make money. But I also love to help people that have brick and mortar stores. You could create a course to then help people learn how to use, so like a free course on how to use a product that you're selling, a physical, tangible product. So what it is this is all about educating people and experiencing and imparting vision to them, imparting what you know about your information. So somebody that has a brick and mortar store could actually do only free content, never paid content, maybe a little like a university that they could do, or a free university. So I've seen a lot of people do this model recently. And this is a new model that I'm all about for tangible products. Is you'll have a physical product, okay? Like let's say you do flooring and tiling. You could create free courses and free content on all the aspects of cleaning, washing, deciding on which tiling you want to use, deciding on what carpet, the differences between that. You can educate people on what you know as an expert to soft sell people on your physical product. Let's say you have software. You could create a whole back-end university on using your software. So for instance, Thinkific, they have software. It's $97 a month. They have a whole course inside of their course platform on how to make courses, which I invite you to go check all that out. Because they make more money if you make more money, basically, is what it is. And they have a Facebook community of like 15,000 people making courses. I believe that this is where there's going to be billions of dollars generated making courses, and then tools that support educators, tools that support business owners, tools that support people with brick and mortars. Whatever business you're in, if you're watching this right now, if you're listening to this right now, I want to know what unique business models people are in as well. what unique businesses that they might benefit from this. I have a post on my group I'm actually going to go through. There's over 200 businesses that are represented that people have. There's like 900 members in the group, but 200 people have told us what industry they're in. So I want to read through those and see which ways I can help those people in other industries that aren't just course creators as well. I believe that this is a starting point for most people, because what you can do is if you create a course, now you have a tangible product. Now you have an asset. Now you have something that you can deliver to the marketplace and people exchange money with you for. It will help you in your... Oh yeah, I almost forgot blog posts. All of this. Blog posts as well as free content. Books. We all have unique ways that we deliver content, unique ways that we communicate with other people. This is just one of them. And if you're somebody that wants to create online courses, I believe that you can. If you go through this, if you use this process, you can create your online course. You can then sell and market it through all these different tools. It's possible for you. I've done it with other people. I've done it myself. You know, my website building course is selling great. We've had 50 students over the last 2 months that have purchased it, which is phenomenal. For me, just kind of starting off in the marketplace, testing this out, 50 people have paid me money to buy the course, and I got one person that asked for their money back because I don't think it was for them. That's why I have that money back guarantee. I believe it in so much. I believe in my course so much that I'm willing to give people their money back within 30 days, even if they go through the whole thing, because I know that it works and I know that it gets people results. Believe in your course that much that you're willing to give people their money back. That actually removes a lot of the risk from it. And if you're somebody that's thinking about buying my course, Website Building Made Easy, go check it out. There is a 30-day money-back guarantee. I promise you this. It will help you unlock the keys that you need to get from where you are to where you want to be with your business by having a website if you don't have one that functions the way people expect. This podcast episode was not a pitch for my course. This was to help you create courses. But if you don't have a website, that's the first place you need to start. I want to help you. I want to coach you. Go to my Instagram, leave hashtag grow your life on any of my Instagram posts. I pick a winner once per week that I can coach with. I can coach you. We can do coaching together on what you need help with in your business. Leave a comment, send me DMs. I've told you this throughout this whole episode, but I just want to remind you, I'm here for you as a resource. Use me. The people that don't get the most out of this are the ones that don't use me. And all I ask in return is that you share this podcast with somebody. Share this with somebody that needs help building courses, or maybe needs a way to make more money or something like that, or they're struggling with content creation. This is a tool that will unlock so many doors for you. You have no idea. Because I've seen it happen for myself. I've seen it happen for others. Grow your life, everybody, and we'll talk soon.